Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we will discuss the next part of chapter number 9, which is associated with plant assets, natural resources, and intangible assets. Actually, these are all assets which are categorized under the category of balance sheet known as fixed asset. In the previous lecture, we have discussed different aspects of your assets, and we discussed that how we will determine the cost of fixed asset and for example land and equipment and plant asset and building, and what type of cost should be included and what type of a cost should not be included in the actual cost of an asset, and how we will make journal entry into the journal. Now the next aspect of your fixed asset is depreciation, and depreciation is very important aspect of your fixed asset. And in case of your plant assets, we will use depreciation. In case of natural resources, we will use a depletion method, and in case of intangible asset, we will use the concept of amortization. Okay, the first topic we will discuss is your depreciation. And what is depreciation? Depreciation is actually the process of allocating the cost of a plant asset to expense over its useful life in a rational and systematic manner. And what is the concept of depreciation and why we use this concept is it's something very much important, because depreciation is something which means that something is being decreased in value, or something which is losing its efficiency, or we can say that when we are determining the manufacturing cost, or cost of goods sold, we will take different expenses, but we are not in a position to take the cost of a fixed asset, like for example building, land and machinery, as we are using these assets, but these assets are not physically consumed. That's why we are not we it's difficult to assess their cost. So in this way, when we determine the depreciation, so this depreciation cost will goes into the cost of goods sold, and it will show the contribution of your fixed asset in the manufacturing of, or in the manufacturing or in developing of your products which are being sold. So that's why we can say that depreciation is process of a cost allocation, but actually we are not valuing asset, we are actually distributing cost over its useful life. For then and the concept of depreciation is applies to land improvement, not land, as we are using land, and we are using land as a land, and we build building on it, and we make certain kind of improvement in that. So land actually is not being depreciated, but the improvement we made on land, it is depreciable, and because it depreciate with the passage of time, and we have to make a certain amendment into that, like for example when we create fences, or even we have to create sheds, or we make parking lots. So all these kind of things are called as land improvement, and these land improvement are depreciable. That's why we will use depreciation concept in this type of you can say land improvement as well. And buildings and equipment, but not land, depreciable, because actually this land improvement is depreciable because the revenue producing ability of asset will decline over the asset useful life, because these land and these building and these equipment are depreciable, because when you use these assets with the passage of time, so they lose their efficiency, and their ability to production and their ability to provide you benefit decline. That's why we can say that we divide the cost of total asset over its useful life. So this is majorly the concept of depreciation. Okay, what type of factors which will help in computing the depreciation? So in this case, we will first have to determine the actual cost. And if you know that in the previous lecture we have discussed the total cost. So all expenditure necessary to acquire the asset and make it ready for you for its intended use. That means the cost of your installation, the cost of getting something important for that. Their actually actually your transportation cost and all the actual cost of that asset which you are acquiring. So all these things contribute into the total cost of that asset. Secondly, the useful life. Actually, this useful life is just an estimation. You can have you can use that asset more than that or less than that, but you can get the useful life from many expert or the people who have experience of using that kind of asset. So you can get the estimate of that, the expected life based on need for repair, service life, and vulnerability to obsolescence. Means that how quickly this asset declines. It can be done with the help of experience of yourself or from the other people who have experience in the usage of that asset. Then last thing is the residual value. Actually, residual value is the value which you get after when the asset is of no use, and you can sell that on the any kind of you can say any kind of buyer which can have, which you use that. Then we and you can sell it at the end of its useful life. So this estimate of the asset value at the end of its useful life, when it is you don't want to use it any further and you want to sell it to any other seller. So what would be that value? So that is called as residual value. So you need, for determining the depreciation, you need cost, useful life, and its residual value. So on the basis of these three things, you can determine the depreciation expense for each period. Depreciation, if you remember in the previous subject, that is the financial accounting one, we have discussed only one kind of depreciation method, that was called as straight line method. But in this chapter on this topic, we will discuss the four kinds of depreciation methods, and whatever method you want to select, whatever the kind of asset and whatever you want, the nature of your business, you can select the type of depreciation that is more suitable to you. So these four types of depreciation methods are straight line method, which we have already discussed. Secondly, units of activity methods, and declining balance method, and Mecker's method. So these are the three methods which will help you determine the depreciation per period, and help to determine the depreciation expense for you in certain specific time period. Now, look into the example which will help you to determine the depreciation expense with the help of straight line method, unit of activity method, and declining balance method. So over here, the question is that Bob's florist purchased a small delivery truck on January 1st, 2014. The cost was 13,000. Expected residual value is 1,000. Estimated useful life is in years is 5, and estimated useful life in miles is 1 lakh. So because they have given this miles life, because you have the other method, that is unit of activity method, so you can determine the with the help of this, you can determine the depreciation expense per period for your delivery truck. So starting the question. So starting with the question, first of all, we use straight line method, and straight line method is a method in which we will divide the expense over its useful life, and the same amount of expense for each period is used. But before determining it, we have a residual value. A residual value is a value which you will get after the completion of the useful life of certain asset. So first we have to determine the depreciable cost, and we can determine the depreciable cost by deducting the residual value from the actual cost. The cost is 13,000 and we have residual value of 1,000. So we deduct 1,000 from 13,000, so we will get 12,000. So 12,000 is depreciable value, and once we get the depreciable value, we have the total useful life, that is 5 years. So we will divide 12,000 by 5, then we get 2,400 annual depreciation expense. And with the help of this, we can determine the depreciation expenses per period. So this is your depreciable cost, multiply by 20%, and there we'll get annual cost 2,400. The accumulated depreciation would be 24,000, and the book value is 10,600. We can get this 10,600 by deducting the accumulated depreciation from the total cost of an asset. Now the second one is your for 2014. So 12,000 multiplied by 20%, 2,400. We have total accumulated depreciation and we have book value. Then 12,000, 20%, 2,400 is your annual expense, and your accumulated depreciation 7,200. So we'll get the accumulated depreciation by adding the previous period accumulated depreciation with the current period's depreciation expense, and the book value is determined by deducting the total amount of accumulated depreciation from the total value, not the depreciable value. We have deducted 10,000, 2,400 from 1,300, so we'll get 10,600 accumulated the book value. And then from 8,200 we'll from 13,000 we will deduct 4,800, so we'll get 8,200. And same is the case, we will deduct 7,200 from 13,000, so we'll get 5,800. And the same goes for the next period as well. We will deduct 9,600 from 13,000, we'll get 3,400. And now in this case we will deduct 13,000 from 12,000 from 13,000, we will get 1,000. So 1,000 actually is your residual value, so we will get at the ending residual value after we will deduct the total amount of accumulated depreciation from the total cost. And as we know that the journal entry, or it's not a journal entry, it's actually an adjusting entry, that is depreciation expense debit and accumulated depreciation credit, and this is done at the end of each period. At the end of December 31st, if your financial year ends at December 31st, so on December 31st you will make this entry, depreciation expense debit and accumulated depreciation credit. Another aspect of depreciation is the straight line method is that for suppose we assume that delivery truck was purchased in the somewhere between the year, that is for example April 1st. April is a fourth month, so that means that 9 months from the year 2014 and 3 months from the year 2019. So in this case what we will do is we will take this is the question of partial year depreciation. So first of all we see that how much amount comes in the period of 2014 and how much come into the 2019, because this is the 5-year calculation. So first of all there would be adjustment in the first year and in the last year. So as we know that the annual depreciation rate is 20%, and we have if we look into this we see that the total annual depreciation expense is 2,400, but as we have purchased this asset on April 1st, that's why we will take this from 1st April to December 31st. So 1st April to December 1st there would be 9 months, so we will divide 9 by 12, so and multiply it by 2,400, we will get current year's depreciation, that is 1,800, and accumulated depreciation would be 1,800. Same is but the next period we will take full year depreciation next year and so on. But at the end of the period, because this in the 2019 the useful life ends on March 31st, so that's why we will take 3 divided by 12 and we'll get 600 depreciation. If we add 600 plus 1,800, we'll get 2,400. So that means that this is the partial year depreciation. We will make adjustment in the first year and in the last year, but everything goes the same, but over here only this adjustment would be done. The second method of depreciation is unit of activity method. Unit of activity method actually suggests that if we purchase some item, and we will see that approximately in the whole life of that asset how much unit it will produce. So in this case they suggest that 1 lakh miles of activity would be done with the help of this delivery truck. So they'll provide you 1 lakh miles of its services. So companies estimate total units of activity to calculate depreciation cost per unit. Over here we are not calculating years, but we are calculating the miles the service that delivery truck will provide. So what we'll do is we will find out the depreciable cost and divide it by the total number of units it will help to produce. So in this case 1 lakh miles, it will help us. So 12,000 divided by 1 lakh miles, with that will give you 0.12. So depreciable cost per unit multiplied by unit of activity during the year. So we'll get annual year's depreciation. In the next slide we will see the per year calculation of this asset. So in we have purchased this asset in 2014, and in 2014 this asset has provided activity of 15,000 miles, and the unit per the cost per unit is 0.12. So annual expense is 1800, accumulated depreciation is 1800, and the book value is 13,000 minus 1800. And the same goes with the third one, that is 30,000. 30,000 multiplied by 0.12, and annual year expense is 3,600. 5,400 is the total accumulated depreciation, and your book value is 13,000 minus 5,400. We'll get 7,600. That is your book value. Then 20,000 is the unit of activity, and multiply by 0.12. We'll get annual expense, that is 2,400. The total accumulated depreciation is 7,800, and the book value is 5,200. That is being calculated by deducting 7,800 from the 13,000. That is the actual cost of asset. So 25,000 unit of activity would be done in the year 2017. Multiply by 0.12, so we'll get 3,000 annual expense, and 10,800 is the accumulated depreciation, and 2,200 is your book value. 10,000 is your unit of activity in the year 2018. 0.12 is your cost per unit, and the total annual expense is 1,200, and 13,000 divided minus 12,000. 12,000 is actually your accumulated depreciation, and we'll get the book value, which is 13,000 minus 12,000. Then that is 1,000. So that is actually the salvage value which is being given in the question. So over here we will calculate the depreciation expense for the first period, that is at the end of 2014. That is depreciation expense debit 1,800 and accumulated depreciation credit 1,800. The other method is actually called as a declining balance method. That is accelerated method. That means that in this method, the first period is, in the first period you will use the depreciation was greater, and so on in the next periods, the consecutive periods, next periods, the depreciation will decreases. So decreasing annual depreciation expense over the asset's useful life. That is actually, this is double declining balance method. So it will take twice the straight line rate with double declining balance. That means that in the previous slides we have seen that 20% was the rate of your straight line method. So over here we will take the double declining balance method, in which we will take the double rate of the depreciation. So rate applied to book value. And over here you can see that we are not taking the depreciable cost, but we are taking the book value, the total value of the asset. So the book value at the beginning of the year is 13,000. We will multiply declining balance rate, that is 40%. That is double of straight line method. So we will get 5,200. So you will see that in the double declining balance method, the depreciation in the first period is higher as compared to the depreciation in the coming years, the next periods. you can see with this in 2014, in the beginning period, we have the book value 13,000 multiplied by the declining balance rate, that is 40%. So annual year expense of depreciation expense is 5,200, and the total accumulated depreciation is 5,200. The book value is 13,000 minus 5,200, that is 7,800. So the remaining, the book value is 7,800. We will multiply it 40%. So we'll get 3,120. The total accumulated depreciation is 8,320, and we'll get the book value by deducting 8,320 from the from 13,000. Now the book value is 4,680. Multiply it 40%. Now the annual expense is 1,872. The book value is now 10,192, and the book value is 2,808. 2,808 multiplied by 40%. Now the book value is 1,123, and the total accumulated depreciation is 11,315, and the book value is 1,685. Now beginning book value is 1,685. 40% is the declining balance rate, and now annual depreciation is 685, and 12,000 is accumulated depreciation, and now 1,000, because we have a higher value, and we will make adjustment, because computation of when we find out that we will get 6,744, but actually we want 685, so we will have we had make certain adjustment over here. So now the 6,685 is the annual expense. We make a little adjustment because we want 1,000 salvage value at the end of the period. That's why we have make a little adjustment. The computation, with the help of computation, we'll get 674, but we need 685 over here. That's why we have make a little adjustment over here. And same, we will make a adjusting entry at the end of the period 2014, that is depreciation expense 5,200, and accumulated depreciation 5,200. If you look into the annual expense, so in the first period the annual expense, depreciation expense is 5,200. The next period it is 3,120. In the next period it is 1,872, and so on. It is declining. That's why it is called as declining balance method, that in the first period you have higher depreciation expense, but with the consecutive years you will get lower depreciation expense. That's why it is called as declining balance method. Okay, this is the actually a question of partial year depreciation while we are using declining balance method. The same rules applies over here, because as we have purchased this asset in April, so 9 by 412, we first we will calculate the annual depreciation expense, that is 5,200. Then we will multiply by 9 divided by 12, so we'll get 3,900, and the accumulated depreciation is 3,900. And the beginning book value is 9,100 multiplied by 40%, we will get 3,640. The current year depreciation expense is 30640, and the accumulated depreciation is 540. But we will do all for all the next periods. But in the last period, we have to make adjustment, just like we have made adjustment in the previous question, because we need the 179 current year's expense, depreciation expense, but by multiplying it 40%, that is book value 1,179, we get 472. So what we will do is we will replace it by 179, because we need 179 over here. And because we want to have 12,000 and accumulated depreciation over here. So what we will do is we will deduct 11,821 from 12,000, and 179 it would be your current year's depreciation expense. Now we will compare different methods with each other. So if we see in the straight line method, the depreciation expense remain same over the years. but in the unit of activity it changes with the amount of activity which we have done in different year. So that is over here it's different. But in the declining balance method, in the first period, we have a higher depreciation expense, but with the passage of time, your depreciation expense declines. We can see with the help of this diagram, in the red, we will see that it's straight line method, and then the dark blue it is declining balance method, and in the light blue it is your unit of activity method. So depreciation method used as a straight line method, it is actually remains same, so it's a straight line method. And in case of declining balance method, actually it's actually declining curve. But in case of unit activity, it's actually changing. It's up, goes up and down. It depends upon the amount of activity done in each period. So that's why it's not a very uniform curve. We can say that a straight line method would remain same over the year. Declining methods shows a declining curve, but in case of unit of activity, it depends upon the amount of activity which should be done in each period. So each method is acceptable because each recognizes the decline in service potential of an asset in a rational and systematic manner. So we can use any method, but we can see that what is the actually kind of asset you are using, and depending upon the asset you are using, and depending upon the actually rate of its depreciation, you can select each method and you can have a proper depreciation for each period.